Hello, amazing parents. Let's talk spasticity in the hands and the fingers. So if your child has spasticity in the hands and the fingers, when you touch their fingers or any part of their hand and stretch them out, what happens? Does your child react with even more spasticity? So if he answered yes, first of all, no, this is really super common. Second, I'm going to show you an alternative way of working with the whole body and their brain to better reorganize their entire bodies to have decrease of spasticity in the hand. So hand spasticity doesn't start in the fingers here. Spasticity actually starts in the brain, and it's a miscommunication of the signals the brain is sending to the muscles to contract or release. And often people with spasticity have an auto loop on contract, contract, contract. Now, the secret to reducing spasticity isn't to key in on the muscles. It's actually to take the brain's ability to reorganize itself into consideration. So we're going to work with the brain instead of fighting against it. And we're also going to take into account the entire system. Your child's body is a system that works together. This hand spasticity isn't an isolated incident. I guarantee you, if there is spasticity in the fingers or the hand, there is spasticity in the forearm, there's spasticity in the upper arm, there's spasticity in the shoulder, there's probably spasticity in the spine and the pelvis. It's our brains that coordinate our whole skeleton system and our muscle system. And we are a system. We are not isolated body parts. Our hands are connected to our arms, are connected to our shoulder blade, are connected to our ribs, to our spine, to our pelvis. And I'm going to prove to you that our pelvises are actually connected to our arms and our hand function with this simple movement, so follow along. Start with resting your hands somewhere comfortable on your thighs. Think of your pelvis like a big ball that can roll backwards to put more pressure onto your tailbone, and then roll forward to stick your tailbone out. So you're thinking of your pelvis like a big ball that can roll backwards and forwards. Now, as you're rolling your pelvis backwards, feel your spine bending, and you might even want to naturally look down at the ground. And as you roll your spine forward to stick your tailbone out, you might feel your back arching, and you might even want to look up towards the ceiling a little bit. Now, to keep this a brain-based movement, brains like slow, gentle movements. Your brain pays attention to slow movements. If you do it really fast, your brain is just going to go on autopilot and do what it already knows, which in our children's case is that spasticity. That pattern of having spasticity is locked in. We actually want to give our children's brain an alternative movement, the space for their brain to get curious about other movements, about how their bodies are connected in different ways. So keep rolling your pelvis nice and slow backwards, feeling the rounding of your back, lowering of your head, and rolling your pelvis forward to look a little bit up. Keep it natural, smooth, slow, and gentle. And then just pause. Now place your arms somewhere out to the side of you. Make sure you're comfortable so it's not too far out. It's just kind of down by your side. So you have the freedom to roll your palms upward and roll your palms downward. And just feel how much of your whole body is participating in this movement. As my palms rotate upwards, I feel my forearms rotating. I feel my elbow moving in a little bit. I feel a little bit of my shoulder blades moving, but not very much. I'm going to keep the movement nice and slow so my brain has the chance to feel what's going on and maybe even change it. And then you can rest and just place your hands back on your thighs and just feel how you're sitting. Maybe your breathing's slowed down. Maybe you're feeling more comfortable in the chair. Maybe you're more aware of your spine. Whatever it is, just notice. And now we're going to combine the two movements of rolling the pelvis and rotating the palms upwards and downward. And this is where the fun starts. You'll feel the difference here. So have your hands somewhere beside you in a nice comfortable position. And as you tuck your tailbone underneath you to roll your pelvis backward, rotate your palms so they're facing downwards towards the floor. And then as you roll your pelvis upwards, rotate so that your palms start to face upwards towards the ceiling. So roll your pelvis back, palms go down. Roll your pelvis up, palms go upwards. Keep it nice and slow. Feel the connection between your pelvis, your spine, your head, your shoulder blades. Oh, my shoulder blades just clued into the fact that they're connected to that movement of my spine. Feel if a little bit more of your entire body is participating in the movement. How can your brain make this movement a little bit easier, a little bit more fluid, a little bit more natural feeling? And then we're going to pause and we're going to reverse the movement. So as you roll your pelvis backwards, tucking your tailbone under, your palms face upwards. And as you roll your pelvis forward, tailbone sticking out, you rotate your palms downwards. Now, does this feel more natural or more awkward to you? Does your brain have to take a moment to think about it? Is it giving your brain a variety of information? This is quality information for the brain. We're adding variety of experience to your brain's repertoire that it's going to take and use it to coordinate to make the movement more smoother. And then just pause for a minute. Feel yourself in sitting. What changes do you notice? Maybe your spine feels more taller, your head more over your spine, more over your pelvis. Maybe your shoulders are hanging a little bit lower. They might feel a little bit more freer. Whatever's true for you, just notice. And now simply place your arms out by your side, somewhere comfortable. And we're just going to move the arms, rotate your palms downward, and rotate your palm upward. And let the rest of your body just go with the flow. So immediately, do you feel a little bit more connection between your spine and your hands? Between your hands and your pelvis even? Your brain took that quality information and used it to reorganize this simple movement to be more efficient, more fluid, more comfortable, because we're not doing just an isolated movement. Our brains are able to use our entire bodies for better coordination and organization. All right, if you noticed a difference, let me know down below what differences you noticed. And then I want you to think about, how does your child typically sit in their chair on a daily basis? Because of the spasticity in their arm and hand, is it rotated inward? Is their pelvis rolled back or tailbone tucked underneath them, curled up in a little ball like this? So if you see this pattern in your child, often the answer isn't by pulling or stretching the fingers. It's actually a bigger brain-based issue, a coordination of the entire body. And you can make a difference here by focusing on movements of the pelvis, of the spine, and of the shoulders. So giving your child quality information about how their pelvis can roll and move, how their pelvis is connected to their spine, how their spine is connected to their head, how their spine is connected to the ribs, connected to the shoulder blade, connected to the arm, connected to the hand. That is where you're going to see changes with your child's spasticity. When you focus on the entire body and focus on your child's brain's ability to organize that entire body. And movements of the pelvis, movements of the spine, movements of the ribs, of the shoulders, of the arms, and that's what we cover inside the Mindful Movement Program. A library of over 100 guided videos showing you the brain-based movements to wake up the brain's ability to coordinate the pelvis, spine, ribs, arms, the entire body. You can find out more about the Mindful Movement Program by typing program down below or click on the link down below too. We'll see you in the next video. Bye!